Hello, Watem here and welcome back to small Higurashi When They Cry. I accidentally clicked an extra time when switching back to try to save last time, so I'll just okay, I can't get to save that line. Oh, sorry about that. In case what's the chief's get named out later.
やっぱり鬼だな、赤坂さんはよ。秒殺で5人撃墜だぜ。
ありゃあ絶対空手の域を超えてるな。赤坂さんの鉄拳はすでに狂気だね。
しかし連中、銃を抜かなかったのはラッキーだったよな。赤坂さん、躊躇ねえからな。蜂の巣にしてたかもしれないぜ。
聞こえてるぞ。人を殺し屋みたいに言うな。俺は悪党に容赦しないだけだ。
I mean, I don't think I'd call someone an assassin that goes through like front entrance loudly. Anyway, the pigs he had just caught were no average criminals. They'd committed so many unforgivable sins. The strength behind Akasaka's fists was proportional to those sins. The heavier their sins, the more powerful his blows would be.
豚どもを荷台に詰め込め。赤坂、急がせろ。所轄署に通報が入ってるぞ。
赤坂了解。聞こえたな。撤収を急げ。
了解。主任どうぞ。要治療が5名。手配をお願いします。
There wasn't any trace left of Akasaka's old naivety. He had grown to be the vigilant ace of this department. Oh. Okay, so that's where it ended. Oh, okay. So this is different from the other fragments. Akasaka was training inside a dark dojo filled with the smell of sweat and mold. The dojo was located in the middle of downtown, in a small building. It wasn't that big, they weren't that well-equipped either. It certainly didn't look like a dojo where a person as skilled as Akasaka would train. There were only 3 or 4 students there, including Akasaka. But this was the dojo he picked. To Akasaka, karate was certainly a weapon for crushing his enemies, but now he was seeking something further from it. To achieve his goal, a dojo with many young students having actual physical lessons wouldn't work. He had gone to so many different dojos, and this was one he finally settled on. Every time Akasaka punched a sandbag, the heavy thud of his punch and the clang of a sandbag's chain would echo. He wasn't just punching blindly. He thought first, developed those thoughts, then punch! It was more of a deep and low vibration than a proper sound. Drops of sweat scattered, and the dust swirled up in the air. It was a perfect blow embodying the concept of one strike, one kill. But he wasn't satisfied. He closed his eyes, controlled his breathing, as if trying to hear the cry of cicadas, then punched again. From a beginner's perspective, it looked like he was taking breaks between each. The other students training on their own would glance over and sense a fearsome respect at his focused blows.
赤坂さんって警察に勤めてるって噂だぜ。
マジかよ。あんな人が警官やってるなら、俺は悪いことする気なんか起きねえぜ。
しかし、赤坂さんも集中力がすげえよな。あの人疲れるってことを知らねえぜ。
On his days off, Akasaka came to the dojo in the early morning, and he silently trained all day. His training was no longer physical, but mental. The other students were already aware that his continuous concentration was the secret of his strength. However, that was easier said than done. As long as a person lives, they are bound by countless ties and idle thoughts. For a person to submit all his will into such singular focus is more like trying to attain enlightenment than something in the realm of martial arts. Man has tried many different methods to achieve such enlightenment. And what we've learned is that there's no one way to reach it. And the path one takes can reach it, if mastered. Karate is what Akasaka chose.
噂に聞いたんだけどよ、あの人奥さん死んじゃってるらしいんだよ。それを忘れるために空手を始めたって噂だぜ。
So this isn't like the last game where he followed Rika's advice, which saved his wife.
あれ、俺が聞いた話は違うぜ。任務中に女の子を救えなかったとかなんとかで、それで自分の無力さを痛感したとかなんとか。
Well, both are true, really.
おい、聞こえてるぞ。人の噂話なんかしてないで稽古をしろ。
おっす。
There was a small beeping noise. Somebody's watch was letting them know it was noon.
あ、赤坂さん。俺たち弁当買ってきますけど、赤坂さんのも買ってきましょうか。
助かる。何でもいいぞ。頼む。
Akasaka was more pleased to be alone in the dojo than to have anyone bring him lunch. When they left, silence filled the building.
くそ、人の話なんかしやがるから。集中が途切れちまったじゃないか。
But if that happened because of a bit of small talk, that meant he had much more training to do. He had to train much harder if he wanted to achieve enlightenment. He focused again and started to punch the sandbag, but the sound was a lot lighter than before, and obviously the strength in his fists was no longer there. Realizing that he needed to take a break, Akasaka pulled out a towel from his bag and sat down. The sound of cicadas soaked into his body. The windows were open, but there was no breeze coming in. Still, he could feel the cool air, if just a little. Just as I said, the reason Akasaka started karate was because of Yuki's death. Of course, losing against the suspect in that kidnapping incident was one reason too, but more than that, the pain from Yuki's death was what made him start. Yuki fell down the stairs at the hospital and died while he was on a business trip in Shishibone. He couldn't get rid of that depression, so he started learning karate. But in June 1983, when the Great Hinmizawa disaster occurred, he realized something very important. The girl had predicted Yuki's death, and in return, she wanted him to help her. Yuki's death was an accident. He could have told himself that there was nothing he could have done. But as for the girl, Rika Furude's death was different. She knew about her own death 5 years prior. When the disaster occurred, he remembered Oishi and called him to make sure he was okay. Then found out about everything. When he was caught up, he fell into despair. Rika Furude was the turning point in his life. If he had believed what she predicted and did something about it, maybe Yuki wouldn't have had to fall down the stairs. He took the oath to serve the public as a police officer, yet he didn't even notice the plea for help from a little girl. He shoved aside a conspiracy surrounding her until it was too late. He had 5 years to do something about it, but he didn't do anything. She died. Visiting Hinamizawa for the kidnapping case of Minister's grandson was definitely the turning point in his life. If he'd only listened to what that girl said, Yuki would have never died, and he could have been there to help Rika Furude. Those two things continued to haunt him. The investigation into a series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa that he heard about from Oishi was put on an indefinite hiatus because of a disaster, but it was apparent to both of them that there was some conspiracy behind it all. To challenge such things, he needed all the strength and experience that he could muster. He was devoting himself to such strength, but it was too late. Everything had already ended. While he was stuck in this dilemma, The dojo instructor admonished him. There's nothing one can do about what's already done. So in that case, the only thing he can do is to train diligently so if the same thing is to happen again, he will be able to save a person in need. It's all too late. Everything is already over. Yuki died in an accident. Hinamizawa was destroyed in the gas disaster. Enrika-chan was murdered as her intestines were ripped out while she was alive. Shit. I was too obsessed with Yuki's death and couldn't hear the girl's pleas for help. No. If I had listened to her, I could have prevented Yuki's accident too. Damn it. Damn it. Shit. As Akasaka clutched his hair and looked up, he noticed a small shrine overhead that protected the dojo. Akasaka respected both Shinto and Buddhism, but he had never thought of praying to gods in times of despair. But for the first time, he felt like praying for help. If it was something he was capable of doing himself, he would never even consider praying. But as it was something he couldn't resolve on his own, he prayed. It was a very selfish wish. If his wish were to come true, everyone in the whole world would wish for the same thing.
もう一度もう一度あの時に戻らせてくれ。そうしたら今度こそ俺は二人を救う。
At that moment, Akasaka's body suddenly felt very light. No, it was more like he was losing balance, as if he was fainting. Perhaps it was because he shouted so loudly after training and his brain was lacking in oxygen, but he couldn't take his eyes off of the shrine.
ありがとう、赤坂。あなたの思いが私たちにはとても必要だった。
Was this a hallucination? Akasaka felt like a stranger was talking to him.
私たちが奇跡を願い、あなたも奇跡を願わなければ奇跡は起こらない。だって奇跡は全員が願わなかったら起こらない。双方が手を伸ばし合わなかったら届かない。
He didn't know what she was trying to say, but somehow he felt he couldn't miss a single word of it. It felt like it was something very, very important.
赤坂、もしあなたも望んでくれるなら、あなたに奇跡を、私たちに奇跡を。それは欠けたかけらを結び合わせ、より大きな大きなかけらを生み出すきっかけになる。あなたのたった一つの決意が全員の思いや運命に大きな影響を及ぼすこともあるのだから。
あの時にもう一度時間を巻き戻してくれるというのか。
うん、そんなこと私にできるのは気づかせることだけ。一つのかけらだけでは学べないことを他のかけらで学んだことを気づかせてあげるだけ。だからこの欠けたかけらをあるべきところへ戻すだけ。それでもきっと大きな奇跡。もっともその奇跡をあなたはきっと気づかないだろうけれど。
Thank you, Akasaka. Thank you for remembering me. I don't even know how much time I spent asking you for help. But finally, it reached you. So I'll say it one more time. Please help me. No. Please help us. Wait, why is that broken? What? It's... I'm guessing we're gonna do this again? And it's going to be something new this time, maybe? It was long. It was really long. It really was long. Are you okay? Is your spirit still alive? Do you have all the pieces we want lined up on the game board? Is this everything we have that can go up against Kano and her minions in the Game of Fate in the June of 1983? I think, maybe, we have everything. And last but not least, Anu. It's you. The time you have left to be a piece is limited, but that doesn't mean you can't show up in the game. Shall we begin? I've put in hundreds of years just for this moment. What? Huh. Okay, it worked that time. Someone once suggested that believing is like placing a bet with coins of hope. In other words, believing means taking a risk. You gain something if you win, but you lose something if you fail. As with any gamble, we try to make sure we win and then bet a coin. But as with any gamble, there's no guarantee of victory. Sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose. That's how you increase the number of coins you have. But if you keep losing, you don't want to continue gambling. It's then that you realize that if you don't gamble, you don't have to lose anything. Not gambling on anything is the same as not believing in anything. Not believing in anything is the same as not involving yourself in anything. And not involving yourself in anything is the same as not existing. Therefore, she didn't exist. The one coin she had in her heart was the last one. If she lost it, she'd disappear. That was why she was hesitating to make a bet. She had been running, trying not to get involved in any type of match because she was afraid of betting it by accident. But, just like in a game of poker, she could lose her coin by folding. She tried not to lose her last coin. That meant she was going to lose it eventually anyway. There was something she didn't know. Actually, I didn't know it at the time either. The more coins bet into the pool, the higher our chances of winning this game. In other words, the more frightened we are, the more we'll keep losing the game before us. It's just like carrying a portable shrine. What? It's impossible to carry such a heavy thing by oneself. But when people put their strength together, they can lift it easily. There's a clear borderline between too heavy to lift and easily lifted. It's just like how the balance on a scale tips with just a little weight. The big heavy shrine before us couldn't be lifted. Everyone tried their hardest to raise it, but couldn't. I didn't help because I was sure it couldn't budge. I didn't participate in games I know I can't win, so I didn't bet my coin. But that was wrong of me. Maybe the portable shrine could have been lifted if I joined. For the longest time, I'd been pretending to be a bystander. I always thought I was just there to find out if my coin was worth betting or not. That was wrong. I'm not just an onlooker, nor should I be a bystander. I should have participated. The game I've been facing doesn't look like a game I can win. It doesn't look like a game that's worth betting on. But by betting on it, or by participating in it, or by believing in it, the outcome might change. To gamble on something is the same as to believe in something. To believe in something is the same as to be involved in something. To be involved in something is the same as to exist. Therefore, she existed.
はい皆さん、朝のホームルームを始めますよ。おしゃべりはおしまいです。委員長号令起立礼。おはようございます。着席。
Rattle, rattle, rattle. It's an ordinary morning. The only difference is that it started a little later than usual. Chia-sensei normally arrives in the classroom right away, but she's a little late today. Why was she late for homeroom? The rumors were already stirring about the classroom before she arrived. Chia-sensei gave a cue, and the girl peeked into the room timidly. Yes!
新しい転校生の古出羽生さんです。今日から皆さんと一緒にお勉強することになりました。
The voices of welcome, delight, and surprise are all mixed together and fill the classroom.
古出？あれ？リカちゃんの親戚なの？そうなのですよ。僕の遠縁の親戚なのです。もう私もびっくりでございますのよ。リカに親戚がいたなんて知りませんでしたわ。いやいや、おじさんも知らなかったよ。まあ御三家筋は結構ややこしいからね。
Indeed, she is a... It has been stated that she has no relatives left.
私の知らない縁石がいたとしてもありえないことじゃないよ。
でもやっぱりリカちゃんの親戚だよね。はう、かわいいよ。
All my classmates had gotten excited. The new girl looked rather intimidated by it all. Rika-chan is rather carefree, but this Hanyu seems like the complete opposite. She's more like a shy woodland animal. The exact type that Rena loves. Look, see? Ooh, this time she can eat her sweets some without needing to go through Rika. Rena is ready to swallow her whole.
では羽生さん、自己紹介をしてください。皆さんは静かに聞くように。はい、それでは羽生さん、どうぞ。
How? Chia-sensei left the podium and encouraged Hanyu to take over. No. The even greater pressure of the silence left her standing there timidly for a little bit. Well, that's understandable. It's very nerve-wracking to watch though.
古出羽生と言いますのです。そのリカの親戚なのです。僕の親戚なのですよ。みんな仲良くしてあげてほしいです。
Rika-chan can tell she's too nervous to introduce herself. She's right to break the silence. Crushing her like that isn't fair. Which is why I decided to make it more lively.
リカちゃんと同じ古出さんなんだね。古出さんが2人になっちゃった。なら羽生さんでいいじゃありませんの。古出さんって呼んだらリカも振り返ってしまいましたよ。
We generally call each other by our first names here. She's one of us starting today, so you should call her by her first name too. I'm wondering if she's going to call their names before they introduce themselves.
なら決まりだね。今日からあんたのことは羽生って呼ぶよ。私はクラス委員長の園崎美音。美音でいいからね。
北条聡子でございますわよ。よろしくですわよ、羽生さん。
I'm Daiki Tomita. My parents run a tofu shop. Please come by anytime. I'm Sukuru Okamura. Please ask me if you don't know anything.
こんにちは。仲良くしようね。何年生？
Our classmates fell over each other to introduce themselves. Everyone tried to get her to remember their names so they could be friends. A friendly atmosphere swirled in the room. I've only just transferred recently myself, but this is exactly how it was on my first day too. I remember how nervous I was, and how much I appreciated this as a result. I know more than anyone how nerve-wracking it is to be a new student. I should look after her.
そうだね。早くクラスに馴染めるようにしてあげないとね。
そっか。レナも去年は転校生だったんだよな、確か。レナも転校してきた時は緊張したか？
うん。でもみーちゃんたちがすごく親切にしてくれたからすぐに馴染めたんだよ。
まあね、ニューカマーを迎えるのも御三家の大切な仕事だからね。
都合のいい時だけ御三家になるな、お前は。でもミオンなんかに世話になって馴染めたってのは確かにそうだ。
なら今度はケイちゃんがお世話をする番ってことになるんじゃないかな。
そうだな。レナだって転校生だったのに、その次に来た俺に世話をしてくれたもんな。なら今度は俺が新しい転校生に親切にする番ってことだな。
A new student always dramatically changes the atmosphere of a class. Even my attitude has changed. We decided to gather around Hanyu during lunch break.
それでは羽生への質問は一人一個ずつだからね。彼女の本質に迫るディープな質問をズバリ言ってみよう。さあさあ、一番は誰？
好きな食べ物は何ですか？甘いお菓子はみんな大好きなのです。一番好きなのはシュークリームなのですよ。あら、それは素敵ですわね。私も大好物でしたよ。沖宮に美味しい洋菓子のお店がありますの。今度案内して差し上げましたよ。
はいはい、男ども聞こえたね。羽生の好感度を稼ぐにはシュークリームだよ。
dear.
安いやつより高級店の高くて美味しいやつが効果的。さあ次の質問は誰かな。ないならおじさんが好きな子のタイプとか聞いちゃうよ。
Everyone kept asking her new questions, and she looked all panicky again. I guess this is like a traditional ceremony for a new student. And remember, this is exactly how my first day went. Yon and Sadako seemed amused, so it must be the same for them too. I noticed Rena watching the scene before her with a distant look in her eyes. She's probably remembering her first day too.
レナも転校してきた時を思い出してるのか？
We haven't seen much of Rika's... what Rika's looking like though.
他のことを考えてたな。羽生をお持ち帰りする算段でもしてるんだろう。
Now, be careful, honey. This is what a dangerous person looks like.
そんなこと考えてないよ。羽生ちゃんがシュークリームが大好きなこととか、レナのうちに美味しいシュークリームがあるんだよ、食べにおいでとか全然考えてないんだよ。お持ち帰り。
明日からいきなり不登校になったら、こりゃレナのせいに違いないな。
ああ、そんなのひどいよ。
As we watched Hanyu and our classmates have fun, Rena and I laughed together.
ねえケイチくん、なんだか嬉しいね。
嬉しいよな。新しいクラスメートを迎えるのは。
そうじゃなくて、この子、たまに見かけてた気がするの。
羽生か？引っ越し前の下見とかで来た時とかかな。レナって記憶力いいな。
そういうのじゃなくて、羽生ちゃんはもっと前からいて、レナたちのすぐ近くでみんなで遊んでるのをずっと見てた気がするの。ずーっと。あれ？レナだけ？ケイチくんも気づいてたよね。
いや、俺は全然見たことはないんだが。レナは面識があるってことなのか？
From what I can see, this is the first time Mion and Sadako have met Hanyu. If she's being that close to us, like Rena said, it's impossible that none of us would remember her.
気のせいじゃねえのか？第一、羽生は転校生なんだぜ。村にそんなにしょっちゅういたはずないじゃないか。
そうかな。
I'm kind of wondering what's Hanyu doing every time when Rika's dancing?
たまに見かけたような気がするんだけどな。
気のせい気のせい。羽生だってついさっき転校前は遠くに住んでたって言ってたじゃないか。
でもレナは見たんだけどな。
Rena looked like she was trying to remember more. It's probably one of those deja vu experiences. Although it's the first time you see something, it feels like you've seen it before.
別にどうでもいいだろ。今はここにいるんだからさ。
そうなんだよね。あんなにもレナたちの輪の中に入りたそうにしていたから、仲間に加われてよかったねって。
Rena smiled with tears in her eyes. Ignore that slip up. When I looked over at her, Rika-chan was wearing the same expression. It made no sense to me why those two looked that way. But as soon as Sadako came over and pulled a prank on me, I forgot all about it. Do we have Shion here in this timeline as well? Falling asleep, I guess. These are the words that signal the best time of the school day. As soon as the last period ended, my classmates ran out of the room. Hanyu was popular all day today. She's Rika-chan's age, so all the lower grade students gathered around her. Older students like me and Mion didn't have a chance to get close to her, apart from Mion asking me what colour her underwear was.
クラスとしてはさ、こわもての上級生が転校してくるよりは、自分たちと同い年くらいの可愛い転校生の方が嬉しいだろうしね。
ケイチ。
ケイチくん、最初の頃は緊張してたのか、なんだか怖そうな顔をしてたもんね。
おいおい、そりゃひどいぜ。俺だってクラスに早く馴染もうとフレンドリーに接してたってのによ。
どこがフレンドリーでございましたの？私、転校してきて早々にいきなりケイチさんにデコピンを食らってますのよ。
Let's be honest, you probably deserved it.
それは転校初日の教室デビューの出花をトラップでくじかれたからだろうが。しかも椅子の背には画鋲で、机の中にはカエルまで入ってたぞ。
So despite Rika's warning, he still fell for it.
転校生が職員室にいると聞いて様子を見に行った時、ケイチがとても緊張してるように見えたのです。だからサトコが緊張をほぐしてやろうと思ったに違いないのです。
Yes, because my idea of relaxing is being cautious of an attack at any moment.
ひなみ沢の先輩として気を利かせて差し上げたんでしてよ。
Uh-huh.
絶対それだけはありえねえな。
Although, that blackboard eraser trap sure did help to ease my tension. Sadako will be so pleased with herself if I tell her that, so I'll never admit it.
羽生ちゃんはみんなと帰ったね。放課後は誰と遊ぶか今頃引っ張りだこなんじゃないかな。
でもやっぱり初日は疲れるもんだよな。きっと帰ったらバタンキューだぜ。
違いありませんわね。
さてさて皆の衆、このところ私のバイトのせいでだいぶ長いことご無沙汰だったね。部活メンバーの招集だ。
待ちかねてましてよ。ご無沙汰が過ぎると鈍ってしまいましたよ。誰かの罰ゲームをかわいそしないと僕も退屈してしまいますです。はう、レナは負けないんだよ。久しぶりだから手加減なんかしないんだよ。
どうやらみんな欲求不満でだいぶエネルギーを持て余してたようだね。そうでなくちゃおじさんも叩き潰す甲斐がないってもんだよ。
へへ、やる気満々みたいじゃねえか。だがな、あいにく俺の今日の調子は絶好調だ。しくじったなミオン。今日もバイトに行ってた方が良かったと後悔することになるぜ。
Mion's had to work quite a bit lately because her uncle's shop is short on staff, so we haven't done any club activities for a long while. For us, club activities are the main reason we come to school. In a way, we live for these few hours after school. If there are no club activities, there's no point in coming here at all. So it only makes sense for us to be excited about getting to have a meeting again.
こりゃ生半可なゲームじゃみんなの渇きを癒せそうにないね。何のゲームで料理してやろうかね。
Mion looked into the club locker. I'm always curious about what's in that locker and how much of it there is. I swear there's more in there than it can realistically hold. Just then, he heard the door open. Hanyu! Yay!
あれ、羽生ちゃん？こんにちはなのです。あら、どうなさいましたの？忘れ物でございますの？
I thought she'd already gone home. Did she forget her lunchbox or something? It's not that big a deal to forget a textbook, but you can't forget a lunchbox.
羽生、どうしたの？
Come on, Rika, you can speak up for her.
なんか探し物？
Or Hanyu. Hanyu looked at us apologetically. What is it? Are we in the way? She kept staring at us timidly. Hmm? Are we sitting in Hanyu's seat? No, that's not it.
どうしたの羽生ちゃん？何か困りごとかな？
Rena talked to her, but there was no communication to be had. Almost like trying to have a conversation with a stray cat. What is this? Hanyu was fixated on something. I followed her gaze and found Rika-chan. Hanyu's apologetic gaze was directed at Rika-chan. They've got their own language here. Of meeps and ow, how, how.
僕は何も言いませんです。羽生がそうしたいなら自分のお口で言うと良いのです。
With that, I finally figured it out. Hanyu wanted to say something, but she didn't know how to say it, so she wanted Rika-chan to say it for her. But Rika-chan told her to say it herself. In other words, we need to listen to what Hanyu has to say. I patiently waited for Hanyu to speak up. When I think about what happened this morning, I realize this kind of silence makes her even more nervous. Rena, noticing that, talked to her in a sweet tone of voice.
どうしたの羽生ちゃん？レナにこっそり話して。相談に乗ってあげるよ。
何？もう一回言って。ほうほう。で、
Rena raised her voice.
何よ、おじさんにも教えてよ。何なのよ一体。
本当にいいの？どうしたんでござ？もごもご言われては気持ちよくありませんでしたよ。その僕も部活に混ぜてもらいたいのです。
And on that note, I will be ending it here for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And next time, club activities with Hanyu. Yay! Until then, see ya.